Well, Al, your first defeat in 10 games here at Edgeley Park, but did your team do enough to warrant getting something from the game?
We had a lot of possession, and we had a lot of, I won't say good control of the game in the second half, but we had enough to do better. And I thought in and around the final third, we didn't have the effect we should have had.
I was looking at the stats there. I mean, you've had 9 shots today, but only 1 on target. Does that tell the story?
Yeah, it does tell the story. Lots of possession, lots of attacking thrust. When it comes to the final bit, didn't have it today for some reason.
What was it? Was it the contribution of the strikers? Was it the final ball to them? Was that not good enough? What happened?
No, I think we've struggled a couple of weeks for a couple of games now where we've played balls into front people and we've got runners coming off them and supporting players, and it's not stuck. Bounced off, and these other people break away, and then we're under the cosh. We get counter-attacked too easily, but not through the shape. Or it's more than the reason is we just can't control the ball and keep possession in the final third. Struggled today again with it, but we have a lot of overall play. I can't remember them having, apart from a 5-minute spell, having much effect in our half. No, we contributed to our own loss today.
It must be a concern for you, because I think that's now, I mean, obviously it's 10 without a win, but it's 3 games now without scoring a goal, and it's the longer it goes on, the worse it can get, isn't it?
Yeah, we've missed a player that can get in behind. I said it last week with likes of Reece Turner. We've not had that option, and I can see a player like him, how he would have had some sort of better effect on the game today. I was pleased that at half time, it was shocking in there, there's lots of harsh words and stuff. And then I thought when they came out, they showed a bit more resilience, a bit more determination to get on the ball, a bit more pressure, all over the pitch and working the ball up to the final third. But then we just didn't have the final cutting edge. We looked as though it was a little bit punchless.
Having said all that, could you have had a penalty late on, a foul on Reece Oakes in the box?
I've just been in there and had a word with the man in black, and he's been telling me how wrong I am. So, I said you could do with having another guess, because I think you got that one wrong. I think he did get it wrong. I don't think he got any assistance from the people that could have given him. But I mean, he doesn't hang on that decision. I'm more concerned about what we didn't do. But he asking me, was it a penalty? It was a penalty from where I was. I'd be interested to see that video and see where I was right or not.
We've had a look at it. It's a little bit inconclusive, to be fair, but I think the reaction of the county players tells you everything. No, they're not the best at appealing for things, but there was a few appeal for that one today. Yeah,
I know sometimes we're too soft at doing stuff like that, and too soft all over the pitch. But there's enough voices on there, and the expression that they give and the gestures. I thought it was a penalty. Most of the players thought it was a penalty. The man that matters thought it wasn't, so you've got to leave it at that.
You brought a new player into your squad today. Didn't get onto the pitch today. Sanchez Payne was named on the bench. I know you're thin in terms of players, so you've got a few injuries at the moment. But Sanchez, tell us a little bit about him for people who don't know. What does he offer?
Well, he offers a little bit of dash. He's very similar. He's very similar in style to Mokes. A little bit strong players. He's good at attacking 1v1 situations. It's late in the season to find out just how effective he's going to be for us. But obviously he's signed on a non-contract form, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to secure enough points to be able to let these players come in and play with a bit of freedom without any pressure on them. So that's what we're looking for more towards the end of the season than now.
One thing you didn't need today was another injury, and you got one, Kieran Charnock. What was the? He seemed to indicate straight away that he knew there was something wrong. What is it?
I think he pulled up with hamstring. I'm just going to check in now with Roger, but that was the impression I got from it. And at this stage of the season, that's probably, I would have thought, very difficult to come back if it's grade 2 or whatever. It's probably going to be difficult to come back. To get any more games in.
Having said that, you're back 4 with Jordan at right back, and then Mark Lee's moving across back into the centre. Didn't look greatly troubled after that, really.
I don't think we was troubled in the second half, apart from a 5-minute spell where we went a bit sloppy. But for most of the second half, I thought we was in control of the game without doing any damage. And if you're at home, it's I'm very disappointed that we've lost that record, the home record. But you've got to get the chin up. We've got another 5 games. There's a set amount of points to get. and it's given me a clearer picture now about who I'm keeping and who we need to get. We've been very active in that department over the past week. I think the fans might be quite surprised at a couple of players that we're looking to bring in. I just think that they are the quality of the players that I want for next season, and hopefully if we can agree the financial little bits and pieces, we'll get them, and they're going to be a significant improvement to what we've got at the moment.
Without being disrespectful to the current squad, does the number of players that you're looking to keep from the current players, does that go down each week that you fail to get results?
Well, I said about it's a good question, that, to be fair. I said about 3 or 4 weeks ago that I'd like to probably keep 9 or 10 of the existing ones, but it was a period of time for them to satisfy me and for them to nail their position down, nail their place in the squad down, and I think a couple have, and I think there's a few that haven't, and that's down to them now. At the end of the day, I need performances. I need individual performances. They all know the criteria. If they don't match up, then so be it.
And you've got games against top half sides now between now and the end of the season, and most notably North Ferriby away next week. I mean, a side chasing Telford at the top of the table. It's going to be a tough one, that, isn't it?
Football's a funny game. They're a decent outfit in terms of their position. But I'm looking at, not being disrespectful, but I'm looking at some of the players that they've got, and I'm looking at the players that we've got in the existing squad, and I don't see that big a difference in terms of the league position, in terms of quality of player. And I'm not being disrespectful, I'm just being dead straight, dead honest. And obviously they're in that position, and we're in the position we're in, mid-table. So for me, I've got my targets. And I think today on the whole of the game, I think we should have got more out of that game than we did, without a doubt.
And in terms of the injuries you've got at the moment, Carl Jacobs, he's been out for sort of 4 weeks now, and you've got Mark Battersby out injured. What's the latest on both of those?
Well, the latest with Battersby is that he could be out for a couple of weeks and miss a few games. And the latest with Kyle is that we're looking, depending on how well his training goes, his rehab this week, he's looking to be available for next Saturday.
Right.
So that's the update on those two.
Which should give you a huge lift, obviously.
Oh yeah, Kyle's been very instrumental, this year. He's been one of our better players, and we have missed that solidity that he gives to the team. But injuries come, you've got to cover for it. It's difficult having a 19-20 man squad, especially when he has been probably the right back of the season. We've not got adequate cover for him, but we'll sincerely welcome him back next week.
Al, have a good week. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.